Welcome to SuiteTrails. Join us as we explore the 7 top attractions in beautiful Portree, Scotland. Get ready for stunning landscapes and unforgettable experiences in this charming Scottish town. Remember that you have the links to all the activities in the description. Number 1. Discover the magic of the Isle of Skye on this day trip from Portree. Travel aboard an air-conditioned coach on this sightseeing adventure. Try to spot wildlife at Nice Point, or view the fantastical rock formations of Cuillin and the stone pillar of Old Man of Store. Be picked up at a centrally located meeting point in Portree and hop aboard the spacious bus. Relax on the drive to the ferry pools in the shadow of the Cuillin Mountains where the ferries are thought to bathe. Have the chance to take a dip in crystal-clear green pools of the River Brittle. Admire the natural arches and waterfalls in this picturesque location before heading to the Talisker Distillery based in Carbost, one of the 3 whiskey distilleries on the Isle of Skye. Have free time to purchase a single malt scotch with a very distinctive peaty smoky taste. Choose to go to Nice Point or to Dunvegan Castle. Look for whales, dolphins and sharks at Nice Point or capture pictures of the hilltop medieval-style castle. Stop at the magnificent Ferry Glen, the most important meeting place of the ferries on Skye. Wander between countless conical mounds, known in the Highlands as ferry nose, and put your ears to the grass to listen for the ferries at work inside. Bend down to search for elves in the glen's miniature forests. Follow the twisted path to the top of the ferry castle or walk the Fawn's Maze. Continue up to the Trotternish Ridge and marvel at the views of the Cuillin, a landscape of rock formations and stunning coastal views. Continue to the 200-foot-tall stone pillar called the Old Man of Store, which has been featured in many movies including the Ridley Scott epic, Prometheus. Number 2. Take in some of the most dramatic and stunning landscapes in Scotland on an eco-certified tour from Inverness. Discover the Isle of Skye, including its capital Portree, Lelt Falls, and the Old Man of Store. Admire the views of Loch Ness from Invermariston, Loch Carron, and Cuillin Mountains Castle. Meet your guide at Railway Terrace and board an air-conditioned bus. Head south out of the city and follow the shores of Loch Ness to Invermariston, where you will stop for a short break. Grab a coffee, take scenic photos, and try and spot Nessie, the Loch Ness monster. Then, continue to Cuillin Mountains Castle, one of Scotland's most photographed castles, set on its own island at the head of Loch Dweech. You will have time to visit the castle and learn about its history or just admire the picturesque exteriors of the castle and its scenic surroundings. Next, journey to the Isle of Skye. Stop at Portree, a small colorful town fringed by cliffs and rolling hills, which serves as the capital of the island. Explore this charming town, enjoy some time to purchase lunch, and take in the views of the boats in the harbor. Head to the Old Man of Store, an iconic rock formation. Next, take a walk at Lelt Falls to admire the beautiful waterfall and gorge. Finally, head back to Inverness via the panoramic Strome viewpoint over Loch Carron. Number 3. Discover the best of the Isle of Skye on a day trip from Inverness. Number 4. Embark on a 3-day guided tour of the Scottish Highlands and visit highlights, including Loch Ness and the Isle of Skye. Learn the history of this lush region from your guide and spend 2 nights in Inverness. Day 1. Departing Edinburgh, we will take our first short drive heading north and stop at the mysterious Kelpies, Scotland's largest piece of outdoor art depicting mythical creatures of Scotland's folklore that your driver will tell you all about. We'll then continue on our journey and pass Stirling Castle. Be inspired by tales from your guide of William Wallace and Robert the Bruce. Continuing north, into the Loch Lomond and the Trossachs National Park, admire the scenery as your tour guide explains the remarkable tribal clan history of the Highlands. Discover beautiful Glencoe, the most famous valley in Scotland, and hear of its tragic history. Admire the spectacular Glenfinnan Viaduct, then head north and arrive on the southern banks of Loch Ness to get photos of the infamous monster Nessie. Stop for photos of Urquhart Castle before arriving in Inverness, the capital of the Highlands, where you'll stay for 2 nights, choosing from a local guest house, hostel, or hotel. Day 2. After breakfast, depart Inverness and drive across the Keswick Bridge to the Black Isle and marvel at the spectacular scenery of Auchnasheen and Loch Carron. Arriving on the Isle of Skye, venture north to explore the highlights of the island, including the Cuillin Mountains, Trotternish Peninsula, Portree, the Old Man's Store, Kilt Rock and the famous Cuillin. In late afternoon, stop for photographs of the most beautiful castle in Scotland, Cuillin Mountains Castle. Backdrop to many famous films, such as Highlander and Maid of Honor, this castle is another must-see iconic landmark. A scenic drive through stunning Glen Shiel follows, returning to Inverness to stay your final night. The evening is free for you to do as you wish. Day 3. Visit Culloden Battlefield, site of the last Jacobite Rising, then Clava Cairns, incredible 4,000-year-old, Bronze Age standing stones. Traveling south, stop at the Highland Folk Museum. Here you'll experience Highland life in the 17th century. See the buildings, the clothes and weapons, and how people lived 300 years ago. Then, drive through the dramatic Cairngorm National Park. You will have the chance to experience a Scotch whisky tasting before you visit the historic village of Pitlochry. Your journey back to Edinburgh takes you across the famous Forth Bridges. The expected arrival time back in Edinburgh is around 6:30 p.m. Number 5. Experience the Scottish Highlands on a tour from Inverness. Visit the Isle of Skye, Dunvegan Castle, the Fairy Pools, and many more highlights on a tour escorted by a driver guide. Depart from Inverness and journey towards the Isle of Skye. Stop at Auchnasheen for a quick break. Head to Loch Carron for a quick photo stop and then take a short break at Kyle of Lochhalsh. Head to the 13th century Dunvegan Castle, operated by the same family for over 800 years. Explore the castle or head into Dunvegan village to grab some lunch and explore the village. Then, it's off to the imposing and dramatic Cuillin mountain range. See 3 more of Skye's most iconic landmarks, Kilt Rock, Lelt Falls, and the Old Man of Store, and head to Portree for an overnight stay. Enjoy breakfast in the morning and head to one of the most magical places in Scotland, the Fairy Pools. Stop at Sligachan and Sconser and head to Broadford to enjoy lunch. Keep an eye out for wildlife, including otters, seals, and even killer whales. Visit Cuillin Mountains, situated on its own island at the head of Loch Dweech. Return to Inverness via the scenic town of Fort Augustus at the foot of Loch Ness. Enjoy views of the massive loch, home to Nessie, before arriving back at the meeting point in the evening. Number 6. Depart Inverness and travel via Loch Ness to the Isle of Skye. Loch Ness is the largest loch by volume in the British Isles, and one of the deepest ones too. Famous worldwide for its elusive monster, it hosts one of the most iconic castles of Scotland, Urquhart Castle. Visit the Fairy Pools. Walk the trail that takes you to the pools and enjoy a swim with the fairies. Next, stop at Talisker Single Malt Scotch Distillery based in Carbost. You'll go through the visitor center, not on the tour, and, if available, sample one of the fine whiskies produced here. Continue your journey to the Isle of Skye, and see the small village of Portree for an afternoon break. Portree is a small harbour village and the capital of Skye. Before you travel back to Inverness, enjoy sights of the mighty Cuillin Mountains Castle, which is situated on its own island, and is one of Scotland's most photographed castles. Continue homeward bound to Inverness, where your tour ends. Number 7. Tour the Scottish Highlands and explore the Isle of Skye on a 3-day guided tour from Edinburgh. You'll see castles, craggy mountains, picturesque towns, and maybe even a monster on this excursion. Stay overnight in a bed and breakfast accommodation. Day 1. A spectacular route north. Depart Edinburgh and travel north through the Trossachs National Park. Visit a lovely village and take in views of the UK's largest expanse of freshwater, Loch Lomond. Continue across the brooding expanse of Rannoch Moor and through Glencoe. Learn the brutal story of the MacDonald Clan massacre and take in the weeping waterfalls that inhabit this incredible glen. The Highland town of Fort William marks the end of Scotland's oldest and most popular long-distance walks, the West Highland Way. Stay overnight in Inverness. Day 2. A full day on Skye. You'll have the full day to explore the Isle of Skye. Highlights include the craggy Cuillin Mountains, the dramatic hills of the Cuillin, and the stunning Trotternish Peninsula. You might see seals out in the waves as you walk along the coast, or a stag standing on a hillside. Visit the capital of Skye, Portree, for lunch. Return to Inverness for your overnight stay. Day 3. Monster spotting on Loch Ness Drive along the banks of Loch Ness, where you can take a boat tour to Urquhart Castle or do a bit of monster hunting from the shore. Please note that during the winter months it may not be possible to take a cruise and visit the castle, but you will still get the opportunity to take in views of the loch and see if you can spot the Loch Ness Monster. At the Culloden battlefield, the site of the defeat of the Jacobites, there is the option of taking a tour. Continue on through the stunning Cairngorm Mountains and stop to explore the picturesque town of Pitlochry as you make your way back to Edinburgh. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.